To build a high-quality, relevant AI agent, you often need to give it access to your private data and files. In StackAI, you'll do this through knowledge bases. Think, for example, an internal company Q&A bot where you chat with HR docs, company policies, legal docs, that kind of thing. In this video, I'll show you how to configure knowledge bases, to connect a data source, configure file indexing and chunking parameters, tag and filter your files, give an LLM agent access to your knowledge base as a tool, and limit who can access your private data. Let's get started. There are two main places to configure knowledge bases in StackAI: the left-hand panel Knowledge Bases Central Node and the Workflow Builder. We'll start here. Opening up this corporate documentation assistant workflow, I see that I have a question and an LLM node and an output, but I need to give this language model access to my data. So to do this, I can go to the left-hand side panel and choose knowledge bases. Here you'll see a variety of different categories of knowledge bases, from static documents, static websites, tables, doing more dynamic searching, referencing HTTP data over API, and using knowledge bases hosted on various file servers. The most basic version of this is to just drag and drop the Documents node and drop in a supported file type. This file will then be uploaded to StackAI, and you can configure all of the different parameters for how StackAI is breaking out this file and making it accessible to the large language model here, from different chunking strategies to metadata filtering to the number of search results. You can find more about these search parameters on the knowledge base dashboard in the StackAI docs. We can see this file is finished uploading, and we need to make it accessible to our large language model. So we'll connect our large language model here, and we'll also pass our question in through this same node. When I click on the file, I can see a preview of the PDF, any metadata which I can add to tag to make it easier for the AI to search, and I can see the parsed data and the specific chunks which are getting embedded to make the data more accessible to the AI. When you connect a knowledge base to a large language model, you need to give a reference to that data to the large language model. So here we'll add reference to the question the user is asking, and also a reference to the related documents for this question. Now, every time this large language model runs, it'll look at both the question the user inputted as well as the documents that are listed here. To use the other knowledge base nodes, use them in the same way, dragging and dropping in the node, configuring the interface, connecting the node to the large language model, and then referencing the data you're passing in as context. All of these static nodes will remain the same as you go. Sometimes though, you want to reference a dynamic server-based file system such as Google Drive or SharePoint or Dropbox, where, for instance, your corporate documentation, finance, legal docs, that kind of thing might live. To add a knowledge base from a file server, drag and drop the node where your files live. Here you can then create a new connection, which StackAI will save and store in a secure manner, or select a knowledge base that you already have configured. As a quick aside, going back to the StackAI dashboard, on the left-hand panel you can configure your connections, and you can also manage your knowledge bases. We'll come back here in a moment. So when you drop these nodes down, it'll expose the knowledge bases you already have configured in the knowledge base system, or allow you to create a new connection. Let's swap both of these out for a SharePoint server. Now I'll reference some financial docs that I've previously configured. I can see that the reference has been updated to reference my SharePoint knowledge base. I can also click on the Settings tab and customize any of the search parameters I need to. Oftentimes with a large corporate file server, you need to be able to filter and tag these different files to make it easier for the large language model to find them. You can add these metadata tags by clicking directly on specific files and adding them as properties. You can also go back to the central knowledge base hub and do this here as well. Additionally, if these files are likely to be changing, you can turn on automatic synchronization so that your agent always has access to the latest files, and you can manually sync files here. Going back to the workflow. So now we've given our user the ability to ask a question, and we've connected our SharePoint knowledge base to our large language model. There are two more key points about knowledge bases. With the static knowledge base node, all of this contextual data will always be passed in each run of this workflow so that the agent always has access to it. Sometimes you want to give the large language model the ability to query the data if it needs it or not. To do this, you can add it as a tool by clicking the Add Tool button. You can see all the different tools the large language model has access to. So let's just search for knowledge base. And here we can give this large language model the ability to search the knowledge bases based on the context it has for the given query the user gives it. And you can configure the settings for how the large language model uses this tool, configuring different search strategies, results length, etc. And the last feature we'll cover in this video is the roles-based access control settings. Sometimes you configure a knowledge base with specific files that you only want some people to have access to. To expose this knowledge base, you can go to the settings on the node and click Share Knowledge Base, or go to the Central Knowledge Base Manager and click Share on your knowledge base. Here you can add specific people and groups to your knowledge base and set what roles they have. Thanks for watching, and now you are ready to drop some knowledge on these LLMs. Stay tuned for the next video as we go deeper into tool usage for the large language model nodes in the Workflow Builder.